Giant fans, I am so excited. We've got the mascot of the New York Giants, license plate guy, biggest dire Giants fan that I know. It's my first time getting to talk to him. I am so excited when I reached out to you on Twitter that you're willing to come on the channel, talk New York Giants football. Of course, we'll dive into the whole story with the license plate and talk about the upcoming season, man. But thank you so much for coming on, buddy.
It's my pleasure, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Before we get started, you were telling me you'd give us a little tour of the man cave. Let's see the man cave real quick, and then we'll get into the Giants talk.
All right, so the man cave starts going up the steps. I don't hardly show people, but there's a David Tyree hand painted up on the ceiling, and you come down the stairs. I recently just finished the quotes on the back of the stairs.
Oh my God, that's awesome!
Yeah, I recently just finished those. I even got Tom Brady on here. Ron's going to score 17 points. Haha, okay. And then, some awesome quotes. And then I even got, I don't know if you could see it, Tuck's speech in there. You ain't got a ring. You don't know what it feel like. And then you're into my cave, which, be honest, is just Giants galore. I mean, I have so much. I literally have so much stuff in this cave that my garage is a second cave. I call it my man garage. But it's just a ton of stuff. But you know what? People like, how do you get this and how do you get that and what gave you the idea for that? But to be honest with you, this stuff takes years. I'm not 20 years old anymore. So you accumulate stuff over just a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do stuff like that. And think about all those times you move and either stuff gets lost or broken along the way. So it's been a long ride, man.
That's a hell of a collection. I saw as you were putting the camera back down, you got autographs on the ceiling, probably from Giants, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So when I think about here about a dozen years in this house, I started getting players to come over. Hang out, watch. Well, definitely wasn't watching a Giant game because I was there. But but over the years they started signing. But I missed out on Maurice Carthon was here and Rodney Hampton and Lawrence Taylor and those. I didn't get those guys on the wall. And then I forgot who my first Giant was, but it was his idea. He was like, "Yo, you should get signatures on the wall." And I'm like, and then I forgot who it was. He signed it, and then anybody that came over, they signed it. That was it.
That's friggin' awesome, man. And word, thank you for the love, man. I appreciate it. He says, "Hi, license plate guy. Welcome to the channel."
No doubt.
And thank you for coming on. And we'll start with that. Obviously you're a crazy New York Giants fan. We all are, but you're real. You go to all the road games. You were at the Super Bowl. I remember seeing you going crazy during the game at Arizona, which to this day, I don't care. Maybe I'm biased. I think that's the greatest game in the history of the sport. The Tyree catch, the greatest play in the history of the sport. And then the Eli Manningham, the greatest throw in the history of the sport. The two greatest comeback drives, as good as it gets. And you were at all of it. Obviously, you grew up a New York Giants fan. What gave you the whole idea with the license plate and everything else?
Well, it's funny because I was license plate guy without the name since I was 16, to be honest with you. And now that I'm years old, I'm a lot. I've been doing it a long time. So, but not until Super Bowl 42. Where I do agree, the greatest. It's just the greatest ever. The freaking undefeated, Patriots. Here come the Giants, and we're only going to score 17 points, and blah blah blah, and then just magical catch, and which is the greatest play in the history of the NFL. Not only the Super Bowl, just from the escape to the catch. Like I argue with people all the time. I'm like, I'm not telling you it was the greatest escape. I'm not telling you it was the greatest catch. I'm telling you it was the greatest play. You can't even, it's not even arguable. I don't even know why people argue with me. You can't argue. It's the greatest play ever. Anyway, on the biggest stage ever. So it's
against the best team ever. If the Patriots win that game, they're the greatest team in the history of football.
Some states say they still are.
Yeah.
Even better than the 72 Dolphins. So when I was 16, my dad, he dared me to wear a plate. the orange plate, the Giants plate, and that's actually a patch. But he dared me to wear it to a game, and I wore it, and I didn't think anything of it. Basically took a shoelace off of a sneaker, put it around my neck. Haha, you dared me. I wore it. That's that. And then the Giants won, so Giants fans are extremely superstitious. So they're like, you better wear that next week. And then I wore it again, and they won again, and the rest is history. One plate became two, became four. I was rocking it, not every single game, but I was rocking it a lot. And then again, let's go many years later to Super Bowl 42, and I wasn't even license plate guy. I was oh my God guy,
right.
for a long time. And then I got another car and another plate, and then I started like, wow, this is pretty cool. I have like 10 plates, and then it just took off. Social media was a big influence in that. Guys like you would be like, hey, you're that guy. I have an old plate, or my dad has an old plate, or my grandfather has an old plate. Can I send that to you? And I felt really weird in the beginning, taking people's, real plates, because all of those are real plates. And I was like, listen, write your name and your address on the back of the plate. If I ever stop doing what I'm doing and you want it back, I'll mail it back to you.
Right.
And whoever it is. And, I didn't expect 20 years later to keep doing the same thing. So.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, man. You're a friggin' legend. Absolute legend. And we're going to get into the team. And Q-Dog, man, thanks, Philip. I really appreciate it. He says, entertaining, you're destined for greatness. Tell license plate guy, Q-Dog said, what's up? Go Giants.
No doubt. I know Q-Dog, no doubt.
Q-Dog's awesome. Great subscriber of mine. Nick the Wick says, I look for every game I go. He says, I look for you every game that I go to. I've never found you. He's the guy that wears the license plates. He shouldn't be that hard to find, Nick.
So look. So who is that?
Nick the Wick.
So Nick the Wick. So here's the deal. If you're not seeing a bunch of plates, and you're not seeing some crazy custom jersey, and you're not seeing some crazy Fabio looking blonde hair, and you're not seeing me behind the Giants bench, then you're not looking hard enough, bro. Because this would have been, and I'll take an asterisk because everybody else in the world gets an asterisk. I'll take one too. But this would have been my 20th year. So if Nick is looking for me at a home game, I don't sit front row at the home games. I sit in my, I sell my seats actually for the whole season. I sit front row at the stadium. I should say, front row at the stadium in the end zone, but I sell those. It kind of affords me some of the away money.
Right.
So, and the away games, I mean, this is my 20th year, and I think in 2000, and I think the year of the Super Bowl, I started sitting front row only on the away games, and I haven't stopped. That would have been, at least 13 years of sitting front row at all the away games.
Let me ask you something about the away games, because that's obviously what you do. You go to every single Giants game.
Yeah.
Of every state, I've only been to two stadiums in my life. Well, if you count the Meadowlands, I've been to both Giants stadiums, and then I've been to FedEx Field. Of all the stadiums you've ever been to around the entire country, which one is your favorite?
I get asked this question a lot, and to be honest with you, I give the same answer, and it's AT&T. Cowboys Stadium, Jerry Jones just does it right. It's gorgeous. It's tremendous. You could almost pick up MetLife and put it inside of AT&T.
Yeah.
It's that tremendous. It's so big that on the fourth or fifth level, there's 7 levels. On the fourth or fifth level, they're the Bud Light girls and Bud Light dancers, because the people on the 5th, 6th, 7th can't even see the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders on the ground. So it's that big.
Wow.
And he just does it right. It's classy, it's clean, it's beautiful. It's filled with disgusting fans, Dallas Cowboy fans, and a terrible ass team, but it's a great stadium.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Nick, man, I appreciate it. He says, I was looking for you at the Vikings game. So he's at the Vikings game.
So let me tell you something about if Nick was looking for me at the Viking game, That was, oh, I'm sorry, home or away?
Home or away? And I'm assuming home.
I'm assuming home as well. I'm all over the stadium, home. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, I made it my point. I was putting it on social media. I want to sit in every single section at the stadium. That's like my goal. Since I don't really have a home and I sell my tickets, my real tickets, I want to sit. Like if someone invites me, I'll go. I want to pay my way, but I'll go and I'll sit in all different sections. I sit a lot in the family section, but I want to get to every section. And the away game, if Nick is talking about the away game, which I don't think he is, that was some stadium as well. It's almost like a mini AT&T, if you want me to be honest. And if I'm not wrong, Jerry Jones had a lot to do with that stadium, building it. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. It is a newer stadium. I knew that. I did not know that Jerry Jones had something to do with it.
What is it? U.S. Bank Stadium? Is that it?
I believe so. The one that I really want to see, I'm looking forward to Sunday night, is the new Rams Stadium.
L.A., yeah. I knew you were going to say that. I mean, look, don't get me started, bro, because, you know I'm a homer, and I don't really talk bad about the Giants or MetLife, but holy shit, pardon my language. Look at these stadiums, man.
I was gonna say, and I love the Giants just well. I don't know if I love them quite as much as you. I don't got quotes on my stairs and autographs, but I love the New York Giants to death. But I'm gonna say, if I'm being unbiased, I was a little underwhelmed when they first built the new stadium. I was expecting a little bit better with the new stadium.
I think what bothers me the most is that we paid for it.
Right.
Like we paid for it. So look. I'm going to probably upset some of your viewers here when I say that I would have domed it because, everybody's like, it's not Giants football in the mud. Shut up with the mud. Put a freaking dome on the damn stadium.
Or at least a retractable roof.
Anything.
Right.
Put anything in there. But I can't believe the amount of money that they lost out on indoor activities, concerts. That's mind-boggling to me. I don't understand why they did it. I can't for the life of me. You could tell me all you want. I'll never agree. It should have been domed. Period. Or
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I was for the retractable roof because I like the option. I like the outdoor feel. But if you get the retractable roof, it gives you, like you said, it gives you the opportunity to. Even though we held the Super Bowl, it's friggin' cold. People don't want to go to a Super Bowl when it's 20 degrees out. It gives you the option for that more commonly. It gives you the Final Four. Anything with a retractable roof, it gives you that option to have more events outside of New York Giants. So I agree with you. I thought it was a big mistake.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't understand it. And if you're spending $1 billion, then you spend $2 billion. You spend 1.5. It doesn't matter. I thought they dropped the ball. That's just me. And I'm going to all these other stadiums, and I'm like,
well, you and I both know New York, it's a lot more expensive. $1 billion here ain't going to get you what it gets you in Minnesota.
So it's funny that's an argument that people make.
Yeah.
And I hear it and I understand it. $1.2 billion over there is a freaking $1.2 billion.
You're right. $1 billion still $1 billion.
Right. So, and I do hear you. Maybe they don't make as much as we make on our jobs here than there. Maybe milk is $1 less there. I don't know, but I that's an argument that I've even made, and I should just tell myself to shut up because $1 billion is $1 billion.
Let's get into the Giants. We'll talk about the offseason first. Dave Gettleman, what he did in the draft. Obviously, Joe Judge, the new head coach. They move on from Pat Shurmur. A lot of New York Giants fans were not fans of Pat Shurmur, to put it as nicely as possible. We bring in Joe Judge. Joe Judge is bringing this disciplinarian attitude, which I think was missing. I absolutely love it. But I want to start with the draft. I want to start with the approach and maybe some of the free agents that the Giants brought in. What did you think of some of the offseason moves with Bradbury, Martinez, going heavy offensive line in the draft with guys like Andrew Thomas, Shane Lemieux, Matt Parrott, so on and so forth? What did you think of the overall offseason in terms of the players that we brought in?
First of all, you look a little bit like Judge,
People give me that. I hear Judge.
A little bit, yeah.
I hear that. I hear Judge, and I actually hear Matt Harvey. I don't know if you're a baseball fan, but I've heard that.
You know what? I see a little bit of Matt Harvey. Judge, you got to get like 20 more pounds, and you'll be Judge.
I got to get a little thicker. Yeah.
So look. Bottom line is, I was a McAdoo fan. I thought he was a genius until I wasn't a fan. I was a Shurmur fan. I thought he was going to do great things with whoever new quarterback we were going to bring in. I wasn't a Shermer fan in the end. I'm a Joe Judge fan until he proves me wrong, like the rest. I think he has a tremendously different attitude, like you said, and I love it. I think he's no nonsense. I think he's a Bill Parcells and Tom Coughlin combined, meaning don't mess around. If I tell you guys to get serious, we're serious, and that's that. With a little joking side that he had, which is the fumble in the water and the rain and all that. So I'm cool with that. So let's flash back to the offseason. I wanted the Giants to fire everybody, and I'm not a fire guy like that. I'm kind of level-headed. I wanted the ball boys fired. I wanted the water boy gone. I wanted the tiles in the showers changed. I wanted the garbage cans painted. Like, I'm telling you, I want to get them. I wanted everybody out. Everybody.
You wanted a fresh start.
I wanted everybody.
Yeah.
Giant fans are kind of tricky. Okay, we're New York fans that demand. You brought up some really. I can tell you're a Gettleman fan because of the things you just brought up, and I have to tell you, I think he had a great offseason. Not a good one. I think he had a great one.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the draft, you had to be living on freaking Mars.
Loved it.
If you didn't think the Giants were going big man. I wanted Isaiah Simmons. I wanted actually the only guy I really wanted plays for that Washington team, and I think he's going to be a bust now because he's not a Giant. But anyway, I would have bet my house, man caves included, that the Giants were going offensive lineman. I think I had Wills. Jarek Wills is my first pick, but I had what's his name, and Thomas, biting.
Well, you had Becton, you had Andrew Thomas, you had Wills, you had Wirfs.
I didn't want Becton.
I didn't either. Two boomer bucks.
I thought Becton was a pound away from just pounding himself into the ground. That's just me. Yeah. I do. I think he's got tremendous upside. I don't think his body's going to be able to handle it. I thought Jarek Wills had tremendous footwork, and I thought he was strong as hell. And Wirfs, to me, looked good, but he still looked like a kid to me. And and Thomas was in there, neck and neck, even though I wanted Wills. But any one of those guys, the Giants were getting. I don't care what you say. You have to be in. All of these Giant fans that thought that Isaiah Simmons was going to be a Giant, stop picking guys with your hearts. Start using your head. Look, I'm going to take you back a couple of drafts. I didn't want Barkley. I wanted Barkley. Don't get me wrong.
We all love Barkley.
The greatest running back in the game, by far the greatest running back in college. He was a can't-miss Hall of Famer coming out of college. That's a given.
Right.
I wanted a quarterback. Enough's enough. Right. I love Eli Manning. I wanted Eli to rock one more year, but add a quarterback. I didn't get that. I got Barkley, loved it. The next year, I wanted a quarterback. You know what I mean? They went. I wanted a running back. The vice versa. Whatever the Giants did, they did one and the other, and I wanted the reverse. So
you wanted the quarterback first, then you wanted to get the supporting.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then the Daniel Jones pick. So I get so much crap for that pick.
So do I. I was not happy when they did it.
No, it's not. See, that's where I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I was excited, but I wasn't pissed off. I just couldn't believe that the Giants didn't get the immediate impact defensive player that they needed at 6.
Yeah.
So when the Raiders picked Farrell and the Bucs were on the clock, I'm like, oh my God, my guy is there, the linebacker that the Bucs picked, and Josh Allen. I didn't care which one you were going to pick. I was getting the other guy.
Right.
So when Goodell said the Giants select, I couldn't for the life of me understand why Josh Allen wasn't coming out of his lip.
I was the same as you. I'm the same as you. It was Josh Allen. One track mind for me. Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Josh Allen.
Right, which was probably 99% of the Giant fans. It wasn't against Daniel Jones. And I could prove it because the night before, I was with Daniel Jones. And I posted a pic on Instagram and I said, he's going to be a Giant at 17.
Right. I thought the same thing.
I said, Jones, I said it right to him. I said, DJ, you're going to look so – I know where you want to go. And you're going to the Giants. It's just going to be at 17. Here, I would have bet the house on that too. Now, look, we'll never know if someone was going to take 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll never know, nor do I care now. He's a very good quarterback. I am dying to see what he does this year. But let me get back to your original question. I'm sorry for getting off
No, not
track.
at all, man. Not at all, buddy.
I think Gettleman did a wonderful job. I really do, from Bradbury all the way down with the draft picks. I'll tell you something funny about Giant fans. We say Bradbury, somebody will say Baker. We say someone else, he'll say Sam Beal. So Giant fans are really funny because they're not always the most positive. I am, but they're not always the most positive fans out there. So if you hate Gettleman, you hate him. And you're not going to see anything that he does good. If you hate license plate guy, you hate him. Why? Because he's a fan the same way you are. So people are going to hate for the reasons that they're going to hate. People are going to hate you for the same reasons why people love you.
You got to be yourself, and at the end of the day, you got to realize some people are going to like you, some people aren't. It's the same thing with Dave Gettleman, same thing with anybody. That's
it. That's the reason why there's chocolate and vanilla ice cream. You don't like one, get the other one. You don't like this, get the other one. You don't get them, don't get any. So the bottom line is, Gettleman did a great job. You bring up, the record. Somebody bring up Leonard Williams trade. So he is definitely on thin ice.
Of course.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Don't give me any crap about 4, 5, 6 wins is going to save his job. No, a winning record will save his job. Maybe a 500 should not save his job. It shouldn't. And I'm on board with getting some fresh blood in there if, in fact, the Giants don't have a good season. But it also takes a long time to filter out the old, get things in order, figure out the money, figure out your cap space. It takes a while. And Gettleman is in that maybe he'll get another year, maybe he won't kind of atmosphere right now.
Yeah, I'm going to get to Bad Dog Super Chat in 1 second. I got a question for you with that. You talk about potentially moving on from Gettleman. The fear that I have, and I completely agree with you, I do think he's on thin ice. And I think he had a great offseason, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to save his job. Ownership has come out, and they've said that they basically demand winning. I think 7 or 8 wins, there's a good chance he keeps his job with the young team. You could sell that to the ownership. We'll see. But here's my question to you. If they move on, you know as well as I do, just like when we fired Jerry Reese, which you probably agree with me, we should have probably gotten rid of Reese 2 years earlier.
You're going to bring up the freaking players, right?
They're going to completely – you have to at least fear if you're bringing somebody from the outside. Are they going to scrap everything, want their quarterback, want their defensive players? Because they brought in all these young guys over the last 2 or 3 years. Does that worry you at all if they bring in an outsider? Now, if they hire from within, if they hire Abrams.
And right there is what I was going to say. Yeah. Then you run the risk of them saying, okay, Gettleman's gone. So Tisch, Mara, Kevin Abrams, all the front – whoever, they're going to be like, okay, now we're going to look for a GM, but we're going to keep our core. And if he doesn't believe in this core, then we're not going to hire him. Then you don't go to AB. You got to go to
exactly.
EFG.
Then you're limiting your options.
Don't know what to tell you. Yes, it's definitely a scary thing. But just like when it comes time for the draft, you beg and pray and hope that your organization makes the right decision. The Giants, people want to kill them for making these not so great decisions the last X amount of years. Think about all the great decisions they made for 20 years before that.
Right.
So I don't know.
You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith that the guys at top make the right decision, and that's what. And it's the same thing with Judge. You gotta have faith in Joe Judge. You gotta give him an opportunity. and hope that he gets the job done. Bad Dog, man, thanks so much for the love. He says two things. One, license plate guy needs to have a beer with us when we're at MetLife again, 100%. When we go to the Giant game, would love that. What kind of beer do you drink?
Whatever you're serving, I'm in.
And two, license plate and I need to hit up the gym together. We need to work out together. Let's go Giants. It looks like you could put up a few.
That's so funny, man, because I used to be really into lifting. And then, as you get older, man, just thinking about the gym, you get hurt. And then, COVID hit and I started lifting again. And, I'm not a newbie to the gym, but man, I don't spend all my days in there. Like I get these guys grunting and lifting all these weights. But I'm like, I'm over here happy with this, this little weight I can lift. But yeah, man, let's go to the gym. Can we drink the beer in the gym? Can we just do both?
It sounds like a good workout to me. You get the best of both worlds. A little counterproductive, but it works. And Q Dog says, who wanted Daniel Jones more than Q? I give Q Dog credit for that all the time. He was outspoken about Daniel Jones 3 months before the draft.
So let me ask you something, and this is no offense to Q Dog.
Yeah.
None. Because kudos to him, first of all. But there are a percentage of people that picked him. So if we're talking 1 million people, maybe 5 people were on that bandwagon. With that said, stop it already. Like you knew, like this was the only guy you wanted at 6. Q Dog, this is the only guy that you wanted at 6.
I'm gonna give him credit. He wanted him. He wanted him bad. He
is a small percentage.
Yeah, he's definitely a small percentage.
He is a small percentage that got it right, and I love that. Yeah. I love that. And you know what? In many years from now, when Daniel Jones is putting on a yellow jacket, a gold jacket, whatever color it is, Q Dog could be that. I knew that guy was going. You know what I mean? And good for him for that.
Yeah. But I agree with you. There's gonna be a lot of fans that are gonna say they were like Q Dog, and they were like, "Oh, I knew all along. I knew months before the draft. He was the guy."
Trust me. Yeah. Trust me. That's out there everywhere. Yeah. And I will tell you one thing. Even though people could beat me up in regards to my so-called reaction, which I really didn't have one, my reaction to Daniel Jones, at least they can't beat me up that it was Haskins, because I was vocal about not wanting Haskins.
You wanted defense.
100%. No. Yeah. If we were going quarterback, I just didn't want Haskins.
Right.
I thought Haskins to me is a cheeseburger away from Jamarcus Russell. Now, with that said, he slimmed down and looks pretty good, which I hate.
Yeah, he does look like he's in better shape this year.
Yeah, that made me mad.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about the division in a second. Ty Hercules, man, thanks so much for love. He says, Chris, please don't forget about the cannolis with Bad Dog. 100%. I'm sure you like a cannoli. You're from the New York, New Jersey area.
Cannoli it up.
How could you not like cannoli?
Do me a favor. Don't give me no shit cannoli where it's only one side and the other. I want the cannoli all the way through.
100%. You gotta have equal. You gotta have equal cream on both sides. 100%. But let's jump into the season. I want to talk a little bit more about Daniel Jones. Obviously, the biggest question mark that everybody has with Daniel Jones going into the season. The one thing that impressed me most about Daniel Jones that I didn't expect. One, I thought his arm strength was better than initially reported. Two, the guy's got balls. Some of the throws that he was willing to take, he showed confidence. Didn't expect that. I thought he'd be more of a game manager. Now, the negative on him by 18 fumbles, the pocket awareness. Do you worry about that a bit this year? Specifically, the first game against the Steelers, they led the league in turnovers created last year. But really, for the majority of the season, do you worry about that? Do you think he's going to improve on that going into the season?
I agree with you as far as the arm strength. I always thought it was there. I don't know why that was such an issue. It still is, by the way. I don't know why. I think his pocket awareness is incredible. I think he stood in the pocket and took some crazy hits. I think he sensed awareness, but he better work on that. And that sense of awareness, keeping the ball here or moving it where the the pressure is coming from is definitely a concern. Haters will bring up his fumbles once you start talking about him. And that's up to Daniel Jones to fix that. If he doesn't fix that, he's going to go into his sophomore year. And then if he doesn't fix it again, then he's going to be the guy that's never going to fix the fumble problem. And he won't be the quarterback of the Giants, to be honest with you. because that's a major concern of quarterbacks. Don't give up the freaking ball. Look, man, guy put on, 15, 20, whatever he put on, 15 pounds. I'm not saying that that's all strength in the hands, but it's got to be something. If you saw, they're doing a tremendous amount of drills with him on that. And I know that he worked heavily with his coaches down at Duke or wherever else he was on that particular problem. Do I believe it's fixed? It's so funny because the first fumble, there he goes again. This guy sucks. And it's going to happen. And he's going to fumble.
Right.
But hey, look, he fumbled so many times last year that maybe that, 2 or 3 less is an improvement. So I expect him to be much better. And I am a bit nervous about the Steelers. They have, come on, man, you got J.J. Watt against Thomas. Yes, you have Bud Dupree against Fleming.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So, Joe Judge is no idiot. Jason Garrett is no idiot. I'm sure that the game plan is going to be some quick releases. I'm sure Barkley is going to have a nice game. I'm picking the Giants. I think that J.J. Watt is going to have X amount of tackles, a couple of hurries, and maybe 1 sack if he's lucky, because I do believe the Giants are going to get rid of the ball. With that said, they got to come into our house, and I think the Giants are going to surprise a lot of people. I really do. I just don't want the season to be over in October and we're sitting here. Yeah, me on your freaking show again, and we're talking about the draft, and I don't want that.
I've been on YouTube for 2 years. That's been what it's been for me. The last 2 years, by week 8, week 9, you start thinking about the draft and free agency, and I'm with you. I at least want to be competitive going into December. That's
all we can ask for as Giant fans. Just be a competitive team. You lose a game because of a sustained drive by the other team. Sucks, but okay. But giving the ball away, fumbling it away, stupid interceptions, penalties, and not being in the game past the first 5 minutes is just unacceptable this year. And Giant fans will go absolutely ballistic.
100%. And Nick, man, thanks again, man. He says, hopefully license plate guy will make an appearance at the meetup. Hey, man, he just said it, man. We're going to give him some beers next time we go to a Giant game, 100%.
Yeah, here's the deal. So you guys know that I planned this pretty cool party on Monday. And did you know about my tailgate?
I saw it on Twitter, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, so I planned a really cool party. I had 200 tickets sold. So you got to figure that's 100-something cars, man. And 100% to charity. And I'm a big charity guy. And the NFL shut me down because of broadcasting rights. I don't own them, and I'm certainly not going head-to-head with the NFL. So I took their advice. But I'm going to do something in the next couple weeks, maybe the 49er game, and I'm going to do it on private property where I can show the game. And we'll have all the guys that's listening to you right now, we'll have the beer there.
Listen, man, I'll definitely follow it, man. And if I could make it, I will for sure.
Yeah,
man.
No doubt.
Sounds like a lot of fun, man. But Q-Dog, man, thanks again for the love, man. He says, at license plate guy, were you in attendance at the Giants Super Bowl versus the Broncos in 1986?
I've been to 5. I've been to 5 Super Bowls. I only talk about 4.
That Ravens one was brutal.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that one. That one didn't happen.
I will tell you something funny. So the answer is yes, but I will tell you something funny. So the I got there mad early in Tampa, and I'm in the end zone, and Dilfer is having a catch with Brandon Stokely.
Right.
And I'm yelling at both of them. I'm mad talking. I don't really talk that much anymore, but I was just yapping. And Stokely has his back to me, and he's catching the ball and stepping back into the end zone. And I'm only 10 feet away, and I'm like, Stokely, get out of the end zone. You're never going to see the end zone anyway. I mean, I'm going off. And he's catching it and stepping in and catching it and stepping in. And I'm going off and going off and going off. And Stokely, his last catch from Dilfer, he turns around. He's like, "Let's see you right here in the first quarter." And that drove me. But I was like, "Yeah, full of shit." I was going crazy. And I go back up to my seat. I was only sitting like maybe 16, 17 rows up, something like that, between 15 and 17. And first quarter, Dilfer hits Stokely, and he scores in the same spot that he was catching the ball.
Oh, my
and
God.
there's a picture that I have framed somewhere. Stokely scores, and he's like this. And I know at the bottom of my heart that he's looking for me. I know he was looking for me. And many years later, the Giants picked up Stokely. And I couldn't wait to see him so I could ask, hey, you remember me? I didn't really have hair, but still, like, do you remember? And he got hurt and was put on injured reserve, and I never got to meet him.
Oh, man, that sucks. That sucks.
I don't think he would have remembered it. Or maybe he would have.
He probably did. I mean, that's probably the signature moment of his career, catching the touchdown.
I was talking mad crap to him. And then he scored right in the same spot. He burned Seahorn, and I was like, no.
Oh, that 2000 team was special too. That year, going into the year with Collins in at the quarter, and I really thought they were going to win that game. Going into the game,
man,
and we beat Minnesota, 41-0, whatever it was. I thought going into that game we were going to. Obviously, the Ravens, probably the best defense since I've been watching football, but I thought.
I mean, that defense. That defense will be talked about. Like, if you win a Super Bowl with Dilfer, your defense is going to be talked about forever.
Yeah, so that's good. That's a good point.
That defense, along with the 86 Giants, along with the 85 Bears,
you got the Bucks were good too.
The Buccaneers too probably will rank up as the top 3-4 defenses ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that since I've been watching, I didn't get to see I was born in 85, so I didn't get to appreciate the 86 Giants. But since I've been watching, that Ravens defense was as good as it gets. I think they surrendered 10 points a game that year. But
it was stupid.
Let's talk a little bit about our defense. We haven't talked a bit about that. That is a major question mark going into the year. The way they've played defense the last 2 or 3 years has been unacceptable for New York Giants. We're known for unbelievable linebacker play. That's what our team's always been built around, is the defense, the defense, the defense. First, I just want to get to Angel. He says, "Hey, Chris, Tate might not play, now is questionable." We'll talk about that as well. I did see that on the injury report. I think he's going to play, though.
Tate's playing.
Yeah, and I'm going to get the Q-Dogs in a second. But let's talk about the defense. The defense, we bring in a new defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham.
Not so new.
Well, he was with the Giants 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was. But he's going to bring that, I think, more of an aggressive defense, which is what I thought we were going to be getting with Betcher when we initially brought him in. But last year, one thing I couldn't stand about Betcher, 3rd and 12, he's got them back in the zone, 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, 10-yard, 12-yard curl, first down every time. I think you're going to see a lot more press man. I think you're going to see a more aggressive defense. Which players on this defense this year do you look to really take that next step up? Because we got a lot of younger players. Who
but there's only two. There's only two, and every freaking Giant fan talks about them. Give them to me. Go ahead, give me the two.
The two that are going to break out?
Give me the two that
I'm guessing Peppers, and I'm guessing Lorenzo Carter.
And
Lorenzo Carter, Peppers.
There's two guys that
Dexter Lawrence.
No, he's already great. There's two guys that Giant fans talk about.
Leo?
X-Man.
Okay. And
look, don't get me wrong. Peppers, of course, bro. I mean, you're giving me the guys that are gonna be good no matter what. Peppers is gonna be good. Dexter Lawrence is gonna be all pro. I'm good with those guys. But I better, and every Giant fan, like what the hell happened to Zoe last year? Where was he? So he has to step up. He has to do what he did against the Giants this year, when he played the blue-white game. And X-Man, if those guys together could put up 15 sacks, maybe I'm going crazy.
No, I think 15 is a fair expectation. I think they could do it.
I would 15 and a half. I think everybody would take the under. I'm not. I think the Giants, like I said, I'm going to surprise a lot of people. I think Zoe Carter's turned the corner. I really think X-Man will turn the corner. I believe with the play of Martinez will free him up a little. I think Bradbury's going to be on his own island, and I love that. I really do.
What do you think about Ballantyne on the other side?
So is it Ballantyne or
could be Yadam, the Isaac Yadam?
So I'm going with Yadam.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they're going to play it. I guess we're going to find out. But okay, let's say it's not Yadam. Let's say it is Ballantyne. Okay, step up. Step up. Whoever it is, Peppers will be shining to that side.
Yes, so 100%.
I believe Bradbury could have an all-pro year.
I agree with that. I'm a Pro Bowl type year. I agree. I think he fits the scheme really well. Joe Judge, all he talks about is versatility. Who is more versatile on this defense than Jabril Peppers? They even talked about this. What did you think about this? What Joe Judge came out and talked about when asked about Peppers. You think he could play a little bit on the offense? He played running back at Michigan.
So Thomas McGahee, the special teams coach, who, by the way, is a freaking genius. It started with him when he was talking about Lawrence Taylor played special teams and got all Giant fans in an uproar because when you mention, at least to me, you're a little younger, but you'd probably remember this. When you mention starters, offense or defense, playing on special teams, older Giant fans get they have this tick. and they start talking about a player like a Seahorn, who shattered his knee and was never the same. We get this tick. However, welcome to a new world. I don't mind doing stuff like that. When the Giants put Odell Beckham back to receive punts, everybody stood up. So don't give me that crap that you were worried about an injury. Yeah, you're worried about an injury in the back of your head, but you're also ready for him to take it to the end zone.
Right.
So I'm down with whatever. I don't give a crap anymore.
Just score.
You have freaking 22 guys. Freaking use them. Right. Offense, defense. Not 20. The 53. But you know what I'm saying. If you have a special talent, just use them already.
Yeah. Get the most out of it.
Use them already. And I never believed that. I'm new to that. I really am.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I want to talk about the fullback, too. And Q-Dog, man, thanks so much for love. He says, license plate guy, what was the energy like in the stadium when the Giants beat the Vikes in the NFC Championship game? 41-0.
Dude, the only other time that I've experienced that type of atmosphere was I was just a kid. But when we beat the Redskins 17-0, you weren't born. And when it was that game, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank with who else we played. We won 2 games and we crushed them. The 49ers, I think it was 49-3. Jerry Rice on like the first series got a ball from Montana and was running clear to the end zone and dropped it. You have to look that up. I mean, dropped it.
Yeah.
And the Giants never looked back. So the atmosphere, I'm going to ask Q, how old do you think Q is?
I'd guess in his 40s.
So he's seen a lot of great, but I'll ask you, how many times have you been able to sit back and kick your feet up at a Giant game?
That was one of the few.
All right,
that was one of the few. And the 49er game, I thought I could have, and then they blew that in the playoffs.
Correct. But what I'm saying is could you imagine the atmosphere of cracking open, putting your feet, another sack by the Giants. Oh, we scored again. Oh my God, we scored again. We're not used to that anymore. And we got to get back to that, man. We got to get back to that.
Oh, it's been forever since we've been able to say, "Oh, we got this one in the bag." Hopefully, we got to
get back to that.
Hopefully, we turn the corner. And PTA, man, thank you again, man. He says, "YouTube Yoda and LPG, what's up, guys?" He calls me YouTube Yoda, I guess, because he thinks I'm knowledgeable. I don't know. Let's get fired up for this game, everyone. Go Giants! Listen, I am super excited for the game. unlike you, I think it's going to be close. I think the Giants are going to keep this close. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. I got the Steelers narrowly. I got the Steelers 2017. But to me, the key to this game, if the Giants are going to win, one, it's the fundamentals. You got to the special teams has got to be there, and we're excited about that with Joe Judge. Good punt coverage. You got to win the time of possession, and even if you don't score on drives, you got to get a couple of first down, extend drives, pin them deep, and get after the quarterback and stop that run. I don't think they're going to have a problem stuffing the run with the Castro out. I think they're going to be able to stuff the run.
Look, I'm not a realist, and I'm
you're a fan. You're a fan.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'll let my fandom take over. And do you follow me on Twitter?
I do.
So, I had some very interesting conversations the last couple of days. I don't know if you caught them.
I might have. I probably caught
them. And I took a lot of crap. But I'm cool with talking to you about maybe they don't win. Maybe the new coach, the new team, the new this, the new that, and they're just not ready yet. Okay. What's the difference between, and I'm going off topic again.
Yeah.
What's the difference between me picking the Giants to go 10-6 and you picking the Giants to go 6-10? Not that saying that's your pick. What's the difference? Does 6-10 make you a freaking realist? Does 10-6 make you delusional? That's my biggest problem with Giant fans. Who gives a crap?
Right.
At the end of the day, you want to be wrong with the 6-10.
Of course. Right.
At the end of the day, you want to be wrong. And then after they go 10-6, what are you going to come back to me and say, I told you so? Who wins? Who wins?
It's just a prediction. At the end of the day, it's just a prediction.
So why not predict 10-6?
You're kind of talking me into changing my prediction.
I'm just saying. Why not? I don't want you to.
Here's what I will say. The game of football between a 6-win team and a 10-win team is a matter of a couple of bounces. There are some you go back at the 2018 Giants, that team that went they won 6 out of their last 8, I think it was. Or 4 out of their last 8, rather. They went 4-4, but they should have beat the Colts. They should have beat the Cowboys. They should have beat the Eagles. They lost on a 63-yard field goal to Gano, who's now on the team. That team, they get a couple of breaks. They win 9 games, and nobody's talking about the Giants in the way that they are now. So I agree with you that if you get a couple of bounces in football, things can happen. You start to build some momentum, especially with a young head coach and a young football team. They start to buy in. So it can happen. That's why I always say, listen, guys, I'm going to give you my honest prediction, but at the same time, I'm going to leave a glimmer of hope because that's the way football is. If you're a 5 or 6 win team on paper, you catch the teams on the right week. They got a couple of injuries, especially in a season like this with COVID. You don't know who's going to be showing up for the games and whatnot. And there's going to be more injuries. There wasn't preseason. It's a lot of luck this year, even more so than normal. So I agree with you.
You're not wrong at all. And I go in heavy for that because at the end of the day, you're not wrong. I'm not wrong. It's the way you view things. And at the end of the day, we're all looking for the Giants to be a competitive team, a winning team, a playoff team, and a Super Bowl team. That's it.
That's it. I'm with you on that. I hope they go 16-0. I hope they
exactly.
I hope they go. John, man, thanks for the love. He's a big Redskin fan. He says LPG is a cool guy coming from a Washington football team fan, and he's freaking awesome.
I appreciate that, and 2, he's awesome because the Washington team. I don't feel bad because obviously they're in our division, but eventually, I mean, they've been bad for so long. Eventually, they're not going to be the, oh, don't worry about them, they don't matter team.
Yeah.
And I really hope that that's not at the same time the Giants decide to be good. So football's kind of funny. Unless you have, a Bill Belichick type of brain where you build a dynasty, the Eagles and the Cowboys, the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Cowboys, that's going to change. And it's going to be Giants, Washington Giants. And I look forward to that. I look forward to the battle. And that guy is soon going to get onto your podcast when they're good and the Giants are going to be like, yeah, LPG's an ass, and so are you.
That's the way it works, right? Right now, we're kind of like friendly enemies because neither one of us are that good. And
correct.
Let's talk about the division real quick. What do you think about the teams in our division as a whole? We talked a bit about the Skins already. let's talk about the Eagles. Let's talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We'll start with the Eagles. What do you think about the Eagles, not just for this year, but for going forward? What do you think about that football team?
I think the Eagles are back to their stagnant. They're back to their 8-8. They're back to their maybe squeaking in the playoffs, maybe not. They're back to losing in the first round of the playoffs, hopefully, even if they get in. So I'm not worried about the Eagles at all. I don't think Wentz is going to take them very far again, even though I do think he's a decent quarterback. I'm much more worried about the other team that talks so much and their fans that talk so much and the ones that win the Super Bowl every preseason.
They're paper champs. They're paper champs.
Yeah, but they are freaking good paper champs.
Yes, they are.
And they always – I don't even know how they do it, man. I don't even know where they find some of this money. I don't know how they – I don't know how they get all of these players. And Dak – let me tell you something about Dak. As much as I hate that dude, he's going to have a good season. I really hope that something happens and they have a couple of brain farts and they wind up losing, in the playoffs. And yes, they're going to playoffs. And I have, of course, me, I have the Giants winning the division, but if that's not them, it's definitely the Cowboys.
Yeah, on paper, like you just said with Dak, you're talking about maybe the best receiving core in football. If not, it's top 2 or 3 with the addition of CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, and obviously Amari Cooper. And then Zeke's one of the top 4, top 3, top 4, top 5 running backs. And They've got a top 5 offensive line. Like, there's no excuses for Dak not to put up all-pro numbers.
Right. If you follow all these, know-it-alls, they got Dak as MVP, a lot of them. So that's scary because, I don't claim to be any kind of writer or all these people that make these predictions that are getting paid the big bucks that that used to play the game. But a lot of these guys have Dak like winning, and that scares me a little bit because they know, they've studied, they've seen it. You and me, yeah, I study a little bit of tape, but I watch the TV. That's it.
Yeah, we're fans.
So so it's scary. So let's just hope. What did he do that for? How did he throw that interception? How did he fumble the ball? Let's hope for all that.
Hey, I'll say in recent history, Dallas has had many teams that look great on paper, and they underachieved. And the 2007 playoffs, they were the second best team in football that year. And we go into Dallas, and we all remember Terrell Owens crying like a little baby. So hopefully they choke again this year.
That's funny. I actually have a picture somewhere in here in one of these jerseys is him crying. I actually have a picture of it on the jersey. I don't know where it is. It would take us 15 minutes to find it.
After that game, I watched the post game, and I just watched that interview on replay for an hour. Yeah. I couldn't get enough of it. Him crying about Tony Romo, and I always say one of the most underrated drives. And Eli Manning's my favorite Giant ever. One of the most underrated drives in that whole playoff run that nobody ever talks about. Right before the half, 54 seconds, Eli Manning drives him down the field for a touchdown. That's right, Eli Manning. There you go. Once a Giant, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that drive. That's you're hit the nail on the head. That drive was something sick. Yeah, that drive was very special. Good memory on that one.
Yeah, because if they don't score a touchdown there, that it's a completely different game. They probably end up losing to the game. They go into the half with momentum. And nobody ever talks about that because you think obviously the classic Packer game where you got Tom Coughlin's face about to fall off, and then the Super Bowl is as good as it gets. But
I was very cold.
Yeah. Oh, oh yeah, of course you were at that game. Oh my God. Let's talk about that. -30 or whatever it was. You had to be bundled up for that game.
I'll tell you a really funny story because, God, I don't think I've ever told this. So I had 4 tickets to that game. I don't know how I came up with them, but I did. And my work was going to keep me from going out early. And then I didn't have that much money. So I took a flight to Chicago, like most Giant fans, rented a car and drove to Green Bay. And my friend of a friend of a friend knew this guy looking for tickets. And he said, I'll go. You just got to pick me up at the airport and take me to the game. And I said, I'll have no problem doing that. Just know that I'm coming from Chicago. So however long it takes me to get to Green Bay, it's not that far. I'll pick you up and then I'll take you to the game. He's like, calls me back the next day. He's like, you know what? Forget it, man. He's like, just meet me at Teterboro. And I'm like, what? So my buddy, John, who I work with, and this guy and his son met at Teterboro, and he took me on a private jet to Green Bay, where we landed. And I have a picture of it also somewhere. We landed and got into a hangar. That's where I got dressed for the game. I had 50 of those hand warmers.
Yeah.
And I put them all over me, which by the way,
on your body?
Which by the way, yeah, no, don't do that. So correct. Yeah. I put them all over and then put the Under Armour stuff. I burned in those spots. I was warm for at least 10 minutes. But anyway, so we got dressed in a hangar, took a cab to the game, back to the hangar, and flew home. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Forget about the game itself. I've never flown in a private jet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, Captain, could you just do one more fly over Green Bay for me? Yeah, your Lambeau. Yeah, one more. I mean, crazy.
Lambeau's on my bucket list. I have to go to Lambeau Field. That's got to be
incredible.
Yeah. It's got to.
It's one of the few places when I was lucky enough to be on the field before the game. It's one of the few places that when I touched down, off the steps, I was like, Vince Lombardi, Bart Starr, like just going through my brain, Brett, all of these guys. I'm like, wow, I'm on the field like the first ever winners and this and that. Like, it was pretty cool. Green Bay's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list. Let me get to this. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so it's funny because Green Bay, is owned. It's in the middle of like a residential area.
It's kind of like I don't know if you're a baseball fan. Wrigley Field's like that too.
Yeah, I am, and I've been there. In Green Bay, like you could walk through someone's garage, open up the door to the back of their garage, be in their backyard where their pool is, and 10 steps away is the stadium.
Wow.
The parking lot. That's
pretty cool.
It's residential.
That's awesome.
There are actually signs that you could walk through someone's house, but it's going to cost you $1. It's $1 for a cut through.
Really?
I swear to God, you could pay. Hey, can I cut through instead of going around the block? Yeah, $5, $1. There's signs in the grass.
That's pretty cool.
It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Emperor Belichick, man, thank you so much. He says the Cowboys will be competing for the Super Bowl. As much as I hate to say it, Eagles will be mediocre. Redskins will suck. Giants will improve and get their first win over the Eagles in several years. I actually believe that. I do think.
Who said that?
Emperor Belichick.
So he's. I mean, obviously, he's right about most of it. They're not going to Super Bowl, but he's not wrong. His prediction is probably 99% of what everybody is feeling, whether they outwardly say it or not.
I really think we're beating the Eagles this year. I really do. I know it seems like it's been forever. I really do think we're going to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, we have a disgusting record versus the Eagles. Disgusting.
Yeah. We just find ways to lose games, but I just think I just have new optimism with the new culture with Joe Judge, and I really feel like the Eagles, all the injuries preseason, they got the horrible cap situation next year. Like,
yeah.
I feel like they're on the way down. We're on the way up.
I agree. Yeah,
which is good. And Donald, man, thanks so much, man. He says, what's more likely, Jones has 3 or more touchdowns or Barkley gets 100 yards and 2 touchdowns? I believe we'll win this game. The Steelers have absolutely no tape on the Giants. I think it'll come down to the fourth quarter. So he's asking, I guess, what's more likely, Jones throws 3 or Barkley runs in 2?
Great question, but why not? I can't have it all. I can't have 3 touchdowns. One. Hold on. I can't have one to Caden Smith. I can't have one to Darius Slayton. I can't have another one. Maybe CJ Board gets one, his first one as a Giant, and Barkley runs in for another 2. I can't have that.
Why not? Why can't we? I mean, why not? Let's shoot for the stars, man.
I can't have that.
My answer to that, and I'm with you. Why can't we have all of it? If I'm going to pick one, I'm going Barkley because I think the Giants are going to try to run the ball as much as they possibly can against this ferocious pass rush.
If I had to pick, I'd Barkley. If he would have said 2-2,
Yeah.
Who's gonna have two? Who's gonna have two? Jones or Barkley? I'd probably still say Barkley.
Yeah, I really think they're gonna pound the rock against this team. You brought up Slayton, and I got to get to OGR real quick. You brought up Slayton. Which wide receiver on this team do you think that fits the scheme the best? And do you think Darius Slayton is in for a breakout sophomore season?
I mean, he's the man. I see a lot of tumor in him. I see him bringing his briefcase to work. I see him doing all the right things. He runs a nice, crisp pattern. He's got super hands. We found a gem in the 5th round, right? He was 5th round pick, right?
5th round pick, yeah.
I mean, that's a gem. I believe he's going to continue. There's no kind of slump. I think he's just going to be a good pro. From the moment he got here to the moment he leaves, he's going to be a good pro. He might not. He might, get maybe an all-pro here or there, but he's going to be a consummate pro his whole career. And he's always going to be the go-to guy.
You sound like you're describing Amani Toomer.
Yeah, I said he's just like Toomer.
Yeah. I missed that part. Yeah,
I believe that's funny. You missed it, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So and I see that. I see his career and we could only be lucky to have a Toomer career.
Toomer's one of my favorite Giants of all time. I mean, he's
incredible.
He was incredible.
Correct.
OGR, man, thanks so much. He says, license plate guy, did you and Davey G go to Aruba together? Because Davey was looking tan the other night. Either way, guys, great show. Keep it up. OGR, thank you so much. If you guys haven't done so, he's got a Giants channel. Go check him out. But go ahead.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, look, man, that's my home away from home. Aruba, any chance I get, I go there. What's really cool is walking down the beach and, whether they're in the ocean or they're on the beach, and, go Giants. You're like, who the hell said that, which is really cool, and it's cool too, because I don't walk around Aruba like this, because it's Aruba's.
I think I saw a picture of you with Aruba. You got the braids, right?
Yeah. Aruba's mad windy. So, so if you're peeping license plate guy, you're not looking for the blonde locks. It's either bunned up, ponytailed, or braided. So whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome. Q Dog says, license plate guy, you need your own documentary. Real talk. I agree. There's been so much LPG stuff, either NFL or NFL Films, did a couple things on me, which was really cool. Every time I want to do something with the Giants, they kind of hold back, because the Giants are big believers of everybody is a fan, and there's not just one fan. And I try and tell them all the time, I'm not about that either. Like, everything I post or everything I do, we rock together. I say it constantly. I might be called super fan. I might be called this. I might be called that. I will never, ever. And if anybody is out there listening, whoever could prove me wrong, I will never put myself over another fan. But I appreciate what he asked. But man, I'm waiting for the Giants to do something. Can you believe the Giants have not done my cave yet? They got to. I saw the garage too. I saw a video of that with
right.
You had some nice cars in there.
Hey now. They won't. They won't do it, because they're like, oh, your cave's been on NFL channel and it's been on, this and that. I'm like, yeah, but not you. And I'm like, yeah, but it's been out there all over the place. I'm like, that's a weak excuse, guys. Sorry, that's weak.
I agree. I think they should, man. You go to every freaking game. Bobby, man, thanks again, man. He says, with the talent surrounding Prescott this year, there is no excuse for him not to win 12 games. Top wide receiver or top 5. Yeah, 100%. There's no excuse. He's got the best supporting cast in football as far as offensively.
Hey, look, we said it a million times. That's what they're set up to do, and let's just hope they don't. But they're set up to do it.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. And Brock, man, thanks for love, man. He says, fly Eagles fly, hashtag 10-6. We hope you go 6-10, hopefully worse, but we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, man, first off, I want to say this was so much friggin' fun.
I love it.
Having you on the channel, getting to talk a bit about the season. Hopefully I get, I know you're a busy guy, but hopefully I get to have you back on at some point, get to talk about the season during the year, and get to talk about the New York Giants. And I'm hoping and praying that we could get out of here with a win the first week. And then you get the Chicago Bears week 2. You might get off to a 2-0 start.
Hey, look, one, thank you for having me on. And this is a great year to do it. Anytime you want. I'm not that busy now. But
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah, you're not going to be at the
if,
games.
if the Giants could pull out a victory, I think we go into Chicago and make them regret starting Trubisky. Maybe a quarterback change in week 3 for them after the Giants leave town. So you can jump out to a nice 2-0 start. And then what we have, the Niners come in, or do we go to L.A.?
LA third.
And
No. Niners first, then the Rams.
Niners, then we go out to L.A. 2 very, very, very tough games. So, the best 3-1, obviously 4-0. The best 3-1, the worst 1-3, and fans will go bananas.
Oh, if we're 3-1 after 4 going into that Cowboys game, forget about it.
No, how about 1-3 going into the Cowboys game?
I'm not gonna be happy, but you still got a little bit of hope if you could get that win there in a divisional opponent. But Cowboys, I worry about how we're gonna match up against the Dallas Cowboys with our secondary the way it is with that receiving core.
One at a time.
Exactly, one at a time. You don't know what Dallas is gonna look like. I meant to mention Logan Ryan.
So did I. Yeah. What the heck? So did I. You're right.
That was a really good pickup by the Giants. They kind of went under the radar. What do you think his role?
Easy. Under the radar. The guy was sitting there for months.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
we got him for pennies. We got him for $5 million. But you get it 7.
Yeah, and every single Giants fan added him on social media. At Logan Ryan. Why are you not a Giant yet? Why are you not in New York yet? So, and he wanted to be here. So I think he wasn't a hometown kid. He is a hometown kid. But he wasn't a hometown guy that gave us a hometown discount in his hometown.
Right.
So I think, I can't believe we did not bring him up. He's going to be very good.
What role do you think he's going to have? Do you think he's going to play in safety, the slot?
I would put him in a slot. I think Logan Ryan likes to come up and hit. And Logan Ryan jumps those quick ins and those screens. I'd put him in a slot. That's just me. Some people have him back at safety. Take your pick.
And
I think he's a very good player.
You start Holmes on the bench?
I
love Holmes. I love Holmes.
Getting back to what we said very early, whether it's Ballantyne or what's his name, I can't believe we didn't say Holmes either. What are we thinking? Holmes before Ballantyne? No.
You want to give him a shot on the outside, even though the Giants said they were drafting him. But at this point, beggars can't be choosers. You lost, obviously, DeAndre Baker. I'd like to see him get an opportunity on the outside.
So would I.
Yeah, he played it at UCLA. Smart guy. So would I.
Yeah, and he's done a terrific job in the blue-white game.
Yeah. So and he was on the outside for that game. He was covered. Yeah. So maybe nobody's talking about Holmes. On the unofficial depth chart, they've got Ballantyne starting, but
right. I know.
But like Judge said, he's going to go with the hot hand. He said at that position specifically. He's gonna circle guys in. Who's ever playing good is going to get that opportunity. So maybe Holmes will be that second cornerback on the outside.
I guess we'll see, man. We'll see. Hey, look, Monday night's going to be exciting. I got the Giants winning, man. I really do.
Yeah, I just got 2. I just want to make sure that if they ask you a question, because 2 donations. Thank you guys so much. The Hub says, the homie license plate guy, I love that's right. You've been on the Hub's channel.
I've been on the Hub. Yeah.
Yeah. The homie LPG. I love talking to this guy, keeping it 100. Steelers winning, but Giants are going to keep it close. And we got the Bears next easy win. Nothing's an easy win in the NFL.
Nothing's easy. But it looks like Giant fans are looking at 1-1 and being happy. I guess I would have to be happy after 2 games being 1-1 as well.
I want 2-0.
2-0 sounds so good.
Give me 2-0. And Q-Dog, man, thanks again. He says, at license plate guy, the Leonard Marshall hit on Montana was the best defensive play I've ever seen by the Giants.
Yeah, I wasn't the best. It was a ridiculously unbelievable hit. My favorite growing up was the Jim Burt, because it was an interception as well that led to a touchdown. And, the Jim Burt underneath the shoulder pad of Montana just knocked him out. Both hits to the Niner quarterbacks just absolutely demolished them. Man, those were the days.
The Seahorn play against
unbelievable. But I it's funny. People ask me, what's your favorite defensive play ever? And it's either the 99-yard run back by Taylor for a touchdown, or Sehorn's interception was amazing. The tip, the spin, and the catch was seriously amazing. And even fast forward all the way up to Landon Collins' interception and run back in London. So I have several.
You know what? You know which play I love that not a lot of people talk about defensively in the Super Bowl? The last drive, Jay Alford, when he rocked Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that play.
Yeah, that sack was incredible. It's funny because Alfred got up and he was like, "Did I really just do that?"
Yeah, it's like, did I just fall into Tom Brady? But it was like a Bill Goldberg spear.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But guys, I just want to say thank you to the entire chat. You guys are phenomenal. You guys are incredible. Thank you guys for showing up to the live stream. Of course, thank you for License Plate Guy for coming on. I mean, maybe if you're free, if you want to come on next week, talk about the Giants, recap the game, you are more than welcome. I absolutely love you coming on. I had an absolute blast. I think the chat really enjoyed it. And like I said, if you're setting up that thing, I'll definitely promote it on my channel. And maybe I'll try to get out there if I can for that 49er game. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, man. I had an absolute blast getting an opportunity to talk to you for an hour or so about the New York Giants, and I'm looking forward to this season.
You got it, man. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks everybody for those questions. It's pretty cool.
All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
See you later, man.
Later, man.